Good morning and good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of Before Coffee. It is our Thursday's 13 episode where we are going to cover 13 things on the list, which our list today is
13 comedians that belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
This is Before Coffee, the father and daughter comprehensive news of Planet Earth podcast, where we look up our stories 10 to 50 minutes before we start. Then OBS crashes and we have to restart the entire stream, frustratingly. And then we've drinking coffee now. We're totally jazzed up, and we're just gonna go through it because I literally don't know.
I blame Jeff Bezos. Jeff Bezos is trying to shut us down.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's all conspiracy from Amazon. I don't know who to blame, but let's get ready for this show by reading out our headlines. Today on Thursday's 13. Agriculture in France, Duplomb law finally adopted by Parliament. And Himachal Pradesh Monsoon Havoc death toll reaches 85.
We're going to talk about getting fit and healthy, and scientists recommend walking this exact distance every day.
Human Rights Court rules Olympic champion Semenya did not get a fair hearing in sex eligibility case.
And we're going to talk about the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and why there's no comedians in it, because the Grand Ole Opry has comedians.
In our culture news, Cosy games are on an unstoppable rise. They unleash a darker side.
And it's National Kitten Day plus National CLERIHEW Day. What's a CLERIHEW? Maybe we're going to put it on our wheel. July 10th, 2025 on Before Coffee. It's the rules for a CLERIHEW. Like John Johnson ate a pie. I surely hope he doesn't die. And then the next two lines got to rhyme. So it's got to have a person's name in the first line, right?
Yeah.
That's a prerequisite. And it's just going to be 4 lines in the first 2 lines rhyme, second 2 lines rhyme. That's kind of an easy rule to remember, I think.
That's called a couple.
You can put it on the wheel tomorrow.
I believe.
What?
Called a couple.
Let's do just CLERIHEWs.
The 2 lines
what do you say?
rhyme with each other, that's called a couple. Poetry.
So in honor of CLERIHEW Day, we're not going to put it on the wheel. We're just going to do this for every story. What do you think?
I don't know if I can do that.
I mean,
it's easier for you because you'll...
No, it's not easy. Who said it was easy? Nobody said it was easy.
I definitely don't want to do it then. It's not easy.
There's nothing easy about anything, man. You can't come with a 4-line
You're telling me I
poem.
just had to restart the stream after it crashed. I know nothing's easy.
There's a person's name in every... All right, spin the wheel then. There's a person's name in every story, so it seems like to me you already got the first line written. You just got to come up with a couple of rhymes. This, to me, is easier to limerick by far. It's not even close. But
if you say so.
I say so. It's easier than a limerick. Limerick's
How
5
about you
lines,
read all the poetry,
right?
and I'll just sit here. That's what I wanted to do.
Yeah. That'll make an interesting
put the
show.
poetry on screen, and it'll be rolling up, and everything will be great. I'll just sit here and put that up.
If you have the capability of doing that, you can do that. Right, we'll put it at the end.
Speaking of limericks, you're going to have to write one right now, because that's what you rolled for the segue.
I'd rather have a CLERIHEW, because it's easier.
You can go ahead and do that. You can give us our first example of a CLERIHEW, okay?
Yeah, I'll like CLERIHEWs. You do whatever you want. That's what I'm writing today. How's that
sound? Great. Okay.
Because it doesn't have any meaning.
Stories here,
it was National Limerick Day, yeah.
2 CLERIHEWs.
Yeah. Give me the names. That's all I need.
Well, I guess this one, it depends. There's a bunch of people in this article because it's about passing a law in Parliament in France. So you can say Macron, you can say Delphine Bateau,
what's Macron's
Minister
first
Annie
name?
Genevard. There's a lot of people in here. Let's talk about the story, though. This is coming off of Liberation by the Angry Farmers. Led by LR Senator, the text ratified by the National Assembly Tuesday, which was 8th of July, notably reintroduces anti-tamprid, a banned pesticide by way of derogation. Oh, this is by Laure Equi. A treaty of submission to agrochemicals, protested LFI President Ariel Touvet of the Economic Affairs Committee, A poisoned law and a green light for ecological destruction, lamented environmentalist Delphine Batho, while Agricultural Minister Annie Genevard, on the other hand, celebrated the path to regaining our food sovereignty taken by the bill of LR Senator Laurent Duplomb. That's why it's called a Duplomb law, because Duplomb is the one who's trying to pass the bill. It was an overheated National Assembly that definitely adopted on July 8th the bill that aimed at removing constraints on the exercise of the farming profession. Can't kill 800 cows a day. This is a constraint on my profession. I can't dump my manure into the water. This is a constraint on my... This is very dangerous law for the environment. By 316 votes in favor, while 3 deputies voted against and 25 abstained. Between the left, which unanimously opposed the text, and the right and the far right, which approved it as one, the central bloc tried to praise the compromise reached the Joint Committee, CMP, last week, believing it had made up for excesses on the initial copy. ANSES, the agency responsible for the evaluation and regulation of pesticides, has certainly saved its prerogative that was threatened in the initial version. Wetlands are exempt from the provision that risks putting them in danger. However, the final version still contains the most criticized measure, the reintroduction by way of acetamiprid. I don't know how to say that word. An insecticide from the neonicotinoid family, recognized by several studies as toxic to biodiversity and human health. Great, let's spray more of it down. So we're not buying anything from France. It's literally impossible for me to figure out if I'm buying stuff from France. What is derogation? Let's look up what that is. I'm not actually sure what that is. Derogation is the act of lessening. Okay, so I think it's more like derogation is a legal term of art which allows for part or all of the provision in a legal measure to be applied differently or not at all. So when it comes to I guess the idea is under derogation, if you're a farmer and you need pesticide, you're allowed to use this banned substance. Otherwise, you're not allowed to use it. I don't know how they're going to regulate that. Banned in France since 2018, but authorized in Europe until 2033, the substance is being demanded by sugar bee and hazelnut producers, much to its dismay of the beekeepers worried about their bees and environmental NGOs and associations, some of which were scrutinizing the vote. You are allies of the cancer, Laura Brett, spokesperson for Cancer Anger Collective, called out from the podium after the vote. I cannot accept the argument that refusing acetamiprid would be punitive ecology. It is a punch in the head. Tonight we're all being punished, reacted as she left the Palais phone. The parliamentarians attached several conditions to its reauthorization, without, however, setting a deadline. Beyond 3 years, an annual review clause is planned, trusted to a solution on which to sit, among others. Great, the committee has people who are making money from it, so of course the committee is going to be used. It is not a blank check. No one can say how many hectares will be affected. Attempts to reassure LR Rapporteur Julian Dive, who admits that it could represent 500,000 hectares if all that requesting sectors obtained the exemption. It could also be less. You have to basically go to this committee and say, I need to use the banned substance. Why? I farm sweet beets, sugar beets, sorry, and I really need it to protect my crops. Okay, you're allowed to use it. Don't give it to any of your friends now. Don't let them use it. I think they probably have to buy it from a represented pesticide seller, I think. The bill also provides the facilitative installation of mega basins and the expansion and creation of intensive livestock buildings, money for the FNCA, the leading agricultural union, which sees many of its demands granted. Great! We get mega farms! Woohoo! We love mega farms. They put so much shit in the air, and they also put shit in the water, and shit everywhere, and animals are treated badly. Yeah, France is siding with the mega farms. They got paid out. They got lobbied. Paid out. Somebody somebody paid out all these far right. This is the worst thing to happen to farmers of the world, I swear. Far right people being on the side of farmers is the worst thing to happen. They think they're getting wins, but all they're going to get is a destroyed planet, and they won't be farming anything. There won't be anything to farm because you'll be dead.
And they're killing the beneficial insects too.
Yeah.
Killing birds, killing beneficial insects, just complete morons.
Giving yourself cancer, probably. After agreement in joint committee and the swift adoption in the Senate last Thursday, what was Thursday? Thursday was 3rd of July. The left had little hope of stopping the text in the hemicycle at the last minute. Anyone with illusions about Macron having more environmental admissions than the right is wrong, warned Ariel Touveau. Wanting to appear greener than green, Gabriel Attal has been making a point in recent weeks of denouncing an anti-ecology axis assembly, parking LR deputies the far right to question the share of renewables in the mix. That's right, the far right are just trying to get ahead. They don't care about the environment. They probably think it's all bullshit, right? Oh, that's not real.
Yeah.
This pesticide giving people cancer was fake. That didn't happen. And animals are not dying from pesticides, so just the big green conspiracy. They just want us to take care of the planet they just don't want us to make money. Yeah, that's what it is. It's not that. They don't want us to make money. They're jealous of us for making money off of selling our mega farm cows. We'll show them. While the leader of the Renaissance deputies, Prime Minister during the agricultural crisis of winter 2024, supported the measures of the Duplomb law, several of his Macronist comrades, uncomfortable with the return of Caster Semenya in the game of massacres of environmental measures in Parliament, did not follow him, choosing to vote against 14 or to abstain 10 others. The 14 voted against, 10 abstained, and these are the people who are supposed to be the green Macronist comrades. Yes. The showing of the Prime Minister's strength and whether or not he supports ecology. It looks like he doesn't, right? Because only 14 and 10 have abstained of how many people are under him. Not very many. So, if he actually supported the ecology of France and Europe, probably would have had more people under his party, actually vote against this law. But there's longer than I thought. Sorry, I get very heated when it comes to ecology. Is your poem ready?
Right. Yeah. It's go. Emmanuel Macron hates pests so much that he appeases fascists. But wetlands and coasts will suffer the most. And there's your little. I haven't even forgot what this thing was called. CLERIHEW. That's a CLERIHEW. All right. So next story.
All right.
CLERIHEW.
My next story is about. Oh wait, let me give you a pause here, since that was our first CLERIHEW. Yeah. I mean, it sounds to me it's just too. Yeah. My mouse. Where's my mouse leave?
Yeah, it's
mouse.
It's a limerick. It's a limerick with the 5th line chopped off, but there has to be a person's name in line 1. So yeah, that's the only thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to our next story, which is about, well, you know how the environment is hot, a hot planet, and unfortunately, as our planet gets hotter, our climate disasters get harsher. So, got a monsoon in India, which is destroying not only land and houses and where people live, but causing fatalities. At least 85 on the death toll right now. From the Hindu, 54 fatalities were directly caused by rain-related incidents such as landslides, flash floods, and cloudburst, while 31 deaths were reported from road accidents as per the SDMA. The SDMA confirmed that the state continues to reel under the impact of relentless rains. In the past 24 hours alone, 204 roads have been blocked, including National Highway NH003, connecting Mandi to Dharampur via Kotli. Additionally, 192 disruption Transformers, or DTRs, and 740 water supply schemes have been disrupted across the state, so people are running out of clean water and they have no power. The Mandi district remains the worst affected, accounting for the highest number of road blockages, 138, major power outages, and damaged water supply systems. In Kulu, 20 roads were blocked due to heavy rain, while Sirmar and Kangra also reported significant infrastructure disruptions. It said in its latest update, all emergency services are on alert. Restoration of road access, water supply is ongoing, said officials at the State Emergency Operations SEOC, which complied the utility disruption report. The SDMA reiterated its appeal to the public to avoid travel on vulnerable routes, especially in high altitude and landslide-prone areas. And more rain is forecast in the coming days. Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister, here's a name for you, Sukhvinder Singh Sukhu, that's already an alliteration, said on July 9th, he didn't say anything. He visited on July 9th the flood-affected areas of the Swaraj Assembly constituency of Mandi district and assured the affected families that all possible support for the state government. He also inspected the relief camp set up in Bagiside for the victims and took feedback on the assistance provided. While interacting with media persons, the Chief Minister said that relief and rescue operations were being carried out effectively in the Swaraj Assembly constituency. However, he expressed concern over some individuals spreading misinformation on social media. Hey, that's what it's there for, guys. Stated, I personally got delivered relief material and rations to rain-hit Galu in a helicopter. Later, Deputy Chief Minister Mukesh Agnihotri and Public Work Ministers Vikramaditya Singh also visited the affected areas to assess the damage caused. Good luck with those names. India.
All right.
I love Indian. They're amazing. Indian Army has mobilized its columns across key locations to deliver relief material to remote villages cut off by the flood in the state's Mandi district. Himachal Pradesh Chief Minister Sukhvinder Singh Sukhu visited the district's Duplomb area to assess the relief operations. Photos of his visit on a post on Twitter on July 10th, which is today. A brigade commander of the army is in Mandi for an operational update and interaction with the columns. A meeting with the chief minister and Mandi's deputy commissioner is also planned, he said. The army has deployed relief columns across Mandi, including Unag, Bagisyad, and Pando. Efforts are bolstered by the involvement of State Disaster Response Force, SDRF, National Disaster Response Force, NDRF, and local authorities. Indian Army remains committed to supporting the state of the Himachal Pradesh during this crisis and continues to stand by civil administration in time of need, the brigadier said. So, even though there are a lot of rain, because this is the thing, right? The reason why there's so many landslides is at very, very hot ground. It gets all dried and cracked, and then it gets all soaked with water, and it just slides right off. And also, it's just not attached to anything. This is why trees are important. This is why greenery is important. If all that green gets burned up or is dry and brittle, it can't keep the ground together, and it just slides right off a hill.
Yeah, roots hold your soil down. That's what they do.
Yep. If you don't have any, if
I couldn't get any of those
die,
names.
we're not going to be able to do anything.
Didn't get any of those names you mentioned. Maybe you want to mention one of them again?
You can do Singh. There's somebody, Vinkar Singh, and Sukhvinder Sukhu.
Symbolist Gonda
Sukhu. Spell it correctly. No one can see it.
yeah, right. Anyway, that person's name you just said, Sukhu, talks typhoon. Indian cities need help soon. I need relief soon. I like relief better. Indian citizens need relief soon to retrieve victims of flood and volunteers to give blood.
That's pretty good. That was a good one. Sukhu. It's tough when you get. At least I didn't do Thailand. You would have been lost.
I rewrote it 4 times. I had Prime Minister Modi in there because I couldn't she'll spit out a name sooner or later.
Unfortunately, yeah, it looks like Modi wasn't even involved. It looks like it was just the I want to say
not in this article.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying it said here only the chief minister showed up and said, "Hey guys, we're here to support you," but no, the Modi was not there at all. Sadly,
he was a placeholder.
Yeah.
He was a placeholder.
Send Suku there. He'll figure it out. He'll tell them they're okay. All right, let's roll in that segue
spin the wheel.
For your story.
Unless you just want to do what I just did.
I'll add it to the wheel tomorrow. Reminds me of a song.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, this is from Earth.com, and it's Jordan Joseph. To get fit and healthy, scientists recommend walking this exact distance every day. I mean, I've always said, why is all that running necessary unless you're trying to escape somebody?
Mostly just destroying your knees, they say.
Never been much of a runner. Yeah, bad for your joints, bad for your back. Walking, I mean, you're stressing out anything. You're barely getting your feet off the ground. And especially that speed walking thing, right? Where you're always got your feet close to the ground. You're not pounding your feet into the ground step. Anyway, this is a short, mid-length story. Walking is the easiest exercise to start and the hardest to overdo, yet many of us still wonder how far we should go each day to stay fit and healthy. Fitness trackers, flash numbers, apps buzz reminders, and friends swap step counts, but the advice often feels like guesswork. New evidence by a team of researchers from Central South University, alongside colleagues at Yale University School of Medicine, offers very clear guidance on this debate. Walking raises heart rate just enough to train the cardiovascular system without punishing joints. I've never smoked a punishing joint. I don't know what that's like. and people with hypertension, adding 1,000 daily steps lowered overall death risk by 9% and heart-related death risk by 8% in a 12-year U.S. cohort study. Scientists call those outcomes reductions in all-cause mortality and cardiovascular mortality. Okay, let's just sentence it again. Scientists call those outcomes reductions in all-cause mortality and cardiovascular mortality. Okay. The study found little extra benefit above 8,250 steps for overall survival and 9,700 for heart health, a range well under the folklore goal of 10,000. So I guess it's a little less than 10,000. Those numbers echo a 2019 trial of older women in which 7,500 steps delivered the same survival edge as 10,000. So you're walking 2,500 steps for no reason. You might as well just go have a beer. Led by Dr. that was my editorial, by the way. Led by Dr. Min Lee of Harvard T.H. Chan's School of Public Health, this research supported the idea that most people can stop chasing ever higher counts once they reach a moderate plateau. The simple message could perhaps be refined to some stepping is good, more is better, up to a certain point. Said Lee, explaining that health gains plateau after that range. The idea dates back to 1965 when Japanese pedometer maker coined Manpokai, or 10,000 step meter, as a catchy slogan rather than a physiological milestone. Yeah, marketing guy came up with it. Yeah, marketing guys. There are, some 400-pound marketing guy came up with that, right? Hitting 8,000 and 9,700 steps translates to about 3.8 to 4.8 miles for an average adult stride. At that distance, energy expenditure lands at nearly 300 to 400 calories, a figure that research team noted can help shave roughly 1 pound a week when paired with mindful eating. Mindful eating.
That's true.
What am I eating? I've got to really be aware.
I catch myself doing this too, actually. I catch myself all the time sitting down, watching a YouTube video, and I'm just eating because it's there, right? I'm not actually hungry. I'm just eating it because it's there.
That's not cool. You should only eat when you're hungry.
Yeah.
That's nature telling you you're hungry. And when I don't really feel like eating this anymore. Stop eating. Put it away. Eat it later when you're hungry. Let your body burn those calories, use that energy, and then it'll want more. I mean, people just overeat. That's what the problem is. People with higher body weight tend to burn more calories per step, while lighter individuals may need more distance to match that burn. If people are lighter, then they're not trying to lose weight. Did you ever think of that? Either way, reaching the same calorie goals depends on the stride length, walking pace, and overall effort. The same 12-year U.S. court study that pinpointed 80 to 50 steps showed the risk curves flattening beyond that mark. Researchers think the body's major adaptations, better blood pressure control, improves insulin sensitivity, stronger leg muscles occur earlier than taper. Rather than pushing for 15,000 steps, time-pressed adults can focus on hitting that middle ground consistently. Accumulating steps on 2 or 3 separate days a week still cut 10-year death risk by about 15%. In National Health and Nutrition's examination survey data. Yay. A sample rule converts step to distance. 2,000 steps equal 1 mile for most people. Using that, 8,000 steps equal about 4 miles, which most folks cover in 80 minutes of leisurely walking or 45 minutes at a brisk clip. In pace terms, keeping conversation but not singing comfortably marks moderately in tests. Let's do this again. In pace terms, keeping conversation but not singing comfortably marks moderate intensity. Heart rate monitors read roughly 50 to 70% of maximum during these walks, the sweet zone for cardiovascular conditioning. So I guess you should be talking while you're walking instead of like totally idle and just walking.
Yeah.
I guess that's what they're saying. Or singing. You could sing. Don't forget that.
You should be, doing something that keeps your breath stable.
That's right. I know this for a fact in the Marine Corps. That's why we sing while we run. It ain't because, it's tuning integrity and it's fun. But it's also good for your cardiovascular. To breathe in, breathe. Using your diaphragm instead of just going.
Yeah. That's what I do. That's why I was able to That's why I was able to do marching band, right? Because I'm doing an instrument which I was already trained, 5 years in. So I already knew how to play the instrument. I could walk around the field. But if I go walking around on the field without my instrument, I'll start having asthma attacks.
All right. Start a breath. Right? Yep, you start singing while you're running, you will go faster and go longer. Believe it or not. Those who prefer the time targets can aim for 150 minutes of moderate walking per week, the level of federal activity guidelines. Spread across 7 days, that's just over 20 minutes daily, slightly less than the time needed for 4,000 steps, and far short for 10,000. Yeah, 10,000 a week. That's not all at once. There you go. Beginner, start slow. Build consistency first in distance per the implications of the findings. Once consistency feels easy, adding an extra block or two extends the workout without scheduling gymnastics. Gymnastics? Holy crap. I'm not going to step up in gymnastics. Age, baseline fitness, and chronic conditions shape the ideal daily distance. People over 60 often see benefits plateau near 6,000. Well, that's good news for me. And 8,000 steps, according to the study mentioned earlier. Of course, I ride a bike, so I burn my calories faster and go farther. I can go a hell of a lot farther and fewer calories. Meanwhile, younger adults can climb 10,000 before gains level off, according to Lee's pooled analysis. His pooled analysis. Weight loss seekers may stretch walks beyond the plateau because of calorie balance. Not mortality curves dictates fat loss. Bigger goals equals longer walks, so forth and so on. Those living with joint pain can still gain overall healthy benefits by combining short walks with cycling or water exercise to protect knees while keeping short counts modest. So cycling is way better for your joints. You're not even touching the ground. You're just doing this, over and over again. And exercising other muscles besides your walking muscles, which I think is probably better for you anyway. My take on that. Smartwatches capture equivalent active minutes, ensuring effort registers even without heel strikes. Medical limits aside, the most reliable predictor of long-term success is enjoyment. If the neighborhood strolls bore you, shifting to park trails, mall loops, or treadmill podcasts can supply variety without complicating the plan. Time scarcity derails many routines, but short bouts add up. The research offers a template. Morning reset, lunchtime stroll, and evening unwind sessions lasting 10 to 15 minutes each. Skipping elevators for stairs, parking farther from the store, or pacing during phone calls collects hidden steps. A 1.5 mile grocery run with usable bags in hand turns errands into strength training and step boosting all at once. That's right. You want to get your steps in? Just go to the grocery store and park a mile away from the store. You'll be fine.
Just start walking.
Tracking helps. Yeah, carry them bags all the way to your car. And, oh, man. Oh, there's my... work my biceps, my triceps, everything. Tracking helps. Pedometer apps reward mini wins and reveal idle stretches. Begging for micro walks. Celebrating streaks reinforces habit loops. A psychological trick as potent as any shoe technology. Yeah. Don't go spend a lot of money on shoes. That's a waste of. Finally, pairing walks with friends or pets injects accountability and pleasure. Social walkers often overshoot goals without noticing a happy accident. The health research fully supports. You don't have to 500 steps. Walk until you don't feel like walking anymore. There's your story. Mind you of a song?
Yes, it did actually, and I think you'll recognize this one because I think we talked about it on our last list. Or is that the list? I don't know when we did the Memphis list, but of course we've got put on my blue suede shoes and I boarded the plane down the land of Delta blues in the middle of the pouring rain. WC handy, want to look down over me? Yeah, I've got a first class ticket, but I'm as blue as a boy can be. Then I'm walking in Memphis. I was walking with my feet 10 feet off the field, walking in Memphis. But do I really feel the way I feel? Probably feel healthy for walking, right? That's the whole point of the article.
Hey, that ties in with last week's Thursday 13, right?
Yeah.
A song that mentions Memphis. Right on. I didn't have that on my list. It was on my list, but Memphis was in the title, and I didn't want to use too many songs.
Yeah, we didn't want to use in the title. That's wanted to look for secretly you didn't know it was about Memphis or not so obvious.
Right.
Thank you, Demigorge. Thank you
the only one I used was Memphis.
Enjoying my singing.
That was nice.
Okay. Let's go to our next segment.
Put a little more pitch into it. A little bit more pitch into it next time. Let's not just...
I don't know what the song sounds like. I think he's talking like, you
gotta make it
singing like this, and I listened to it. I listened to it a little bit, but I don't think I can do a Mark Cohn. I'm sorry. I apologize. Not really.
You gotta make it your own.
Like Lane Staley instead.
Yeah, sing it like Lane Staley.
I boarded the plane.
There you go. There you go.
What my wood cover? My wood cover of walking in Memphis.
Drag that last note out when you sing. Yeah.
No, I can't just. I have to warm up. I've just been sitting here. And just sing.
You gotta be like. You gotta do it. You gotta do it like Ike and Tina Turner did with "Proud Mary."
Oh yeah,
totally different song.
Let me just pull out a Tina Turner real quick. You know what? I want to see you do that.
Let me get my string beaded dress on first, okay? And I'll be in here.
To see that. Okay, your segue is bad pun.
That's what
bad pun.
Tina Turner. Okay, well, I think we found our mic drop moment. Ike Turner.
You dancing in a dress? Yeah. Okay. Sounds good.
Oh yeah, I get my beaded dress out. It's in the cleaners right now.
Our story.
I know
this is a longer story. This is about Semenya.
Right.
So there's your name. Oh, actually, it's a bad pun.
What's the name?
I want to do a poem again. Whatever. Semenya.
No, I'm doing this for all the stories. What's the name?
Okay. And maybe you can put a bad pun in it. You put a bad. There's your extra challenge.
Maybe what's the name again?
Semenya. It's spelled semen. Yeah. Not lying. That's how you spell it.
Name? Gotta put the full name. Full names. Yeah. Full names only.
So this is by AP News. I'm not laughing at the name. I'm laughing at what I said. This is by Graham Dunbar and Gerald Imray on AP News, coming out of Geneva. Two-time Olympic champion runner Caster Semenya won a partial victory at the European Court of Human Rights today on the 10th of July in her 7-year legal fight against the track and field sex eligibility rule. The court's 17-judge highest chamber said in a 15-2 vote that Semenya had some of her rights to be fair hearing violated at Switzerland's Supreme Court, where she had appealed against a ruling by the Court of Arbitration for Sport in the favor of track athletics. Her case should now go back to the Swiss Federal Court in Lausanne to be watched closely by other sports which have passed or are reviewing their own rules on LGBT events. So they're not saying, she was right, she shouldn't have been blah, blah, blah. They're just saying they did not give her a fair trial. I don't know all the rules in every single country in Europe, but I think most of them do have rules for a fair trial. They're going to listen to you and listen to your points and not decide, well, you were born a man, so none of your opinions matter. Bye. I'm not exactly sure what happened in the court ruling. They said, I guess it'll tell us maybe.
She was actually
the original
born a
case
woman.
between Semenya and the track's governing body based in Monaco was about whether athletes like her who have specific medical conditions. So the thing is, she is actually born a woman, but she has a typical male chromosome pattern and naturally high testosterone levels. So she's just unlucky when it comes to being a woman. Because now, to be a woman, you have to have the right amount of hormone levels and the right chromosomes, and you also can't have certain body parts depending on who you're talking to. My collarbone is too obvious, I'm a man, or my collarbone isn't obvious enough, I'm a man. You can't win now. Being proven a woman is harder and harder as we go on through time. Europe's top human rights court in Strasbourg, France, dismissed other aspects of the appeal by Semenya, who was in court on the 10th of July to hear the judgment read. It awarded her 80,000 euros or $94,000 in respective costs and expenses. I went to court, they didn't give me a fair trial, and I still had to pay my lawyer. What the fuck? European Court's ruling does not overturn the World Athletics rules that effectively ended Semenya's career running the 800 meter after she won 2 Olympic and 3 world titles since emerging on the team in 2009. Remember, if you're a woman and you have high testosterone and you have a typical male chromosome pattern, you are cheating. But if you're a male swimmer who has the ability to hold their breath for longer than everyone else, that's fair and square. Everyone knows what I'm talking about. The most gold medals won by a swimmer is because he has this ability. He doesn't go into anaerobic shock as quickly as everyone else. He's basically half fish.
That's
but
right.
He's allowed to compete in Olympics. None of his gold medals are being taken away because he's a man.
Somebody physically dominant over another person wins in an athletic event. That's never happened before. Jesus, what a bunch of sorry-ass little babies.
The key legal point in Semenya's win was the Swiss Federal Court had not carried out a rigorous judicial review that was required because Semenya had no choice but to pursue her case through CAS's mandatory and exclusive jurisdiction, the Strasbourg judges ruled. Governing bodies of sports oblige athletes and national federations to take their dispute to the sports court in the International Olympic Committee's home of Lausanne. The court considered, however, that the Federal Supreme Court's review had fallen short of that requirement, it said in the statement. In dismissing other elements of the South African runner's case, the court judge said he did not fall within Switzerland's jurisdiction in respect of those complaints. Both athletics, led by its president Sebastian Coe, has said its rules maintain fairness because Semenya has an unfair, male-like athletic advantage from her higher testosterone. This is what I imagine all people who argue about this shit are. They're just crying the whole time. Why did somebody I don't like win? It's because her testosterone. It's not that she's really good at running the 800-meter dash.
You know what's really not fair?
Cheating.
It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. It's not fair. They're better at me in sports.
Testosterone is a genetic gift. That's right, Semenya. You fucking tell them it's a fucking gift. She didn't do shit. She didn't take any drugs. She has a fucking gift, a genetic gift, and you're taking it away from her. Worth Athletics and the IOC did not immediately respond to the ruling. Thursday's win followed a legal victory from the same court 2 years ago for Semenya. That judgment, which said she had faced discrimination, opened a way for the Swiss Supreme Court to reconsider its decision to dismiss her appeal against the CS verdict in favor of World Athletics. Dude, I was just fucking born. What the fuck?
You know what's really unfair? You know what's really unfair in basketball is that tall guys always standing by a basket, making it hard for me to score. You know what's really unfair about goalies? Goalies get to use their hand. That's not
what
fair.
the hell? That's cheating. I have to use my feet.
What the fuck is that? Anyway. Jesus Christ. What
In CAS in
pussy.
2019, 3 judges ruled 2-1 that discrimination against Semenya was necessary, reasonable, and proportionate. Wow. Fuck you.
Oh no! Sports aren't equal, everybody!
Discrimination should never be necessary, reasonable, and proportionate when it comes to I was born. Oh, you shouldn't have been born. You shouldn't have been born that way. You should have told your parents, hey, make sure when you make my zygote that I don't have an advantage with testosterone so I can be an 800-meter dash runner. World Athletics drew up its rules in 2018, forcing Semenya and other female athletes with differences in sex development to suppress their testosterone to be eligible for international events. Fuck you. Semenya's last competed internationally in 800 in 2019, winning at the Prefontaine Classic meeting at the Diamond League circuit in Oregon. It extended her winning streak to more than 30 consecutive races when the rules made her ineligible. Reminder, right? I bet you... But I can't remember his name. He's from Maryland, too, that swimmer. His name is generic, too.
Yeah. I'm going to be thinking of his name now. I'll think of it in a second.
I'm searching. I can't remember his name right now.
I know it's on the tip of my tongue.
Most gold Olympic swimmer. I know he's like the most.
He won 28 medals.
Michael Phelps.
Yeah. Michael Phelps, yep.
Yeah, Michael Phelps. Michael Phelps, who this is just he's won so many medals, but it's not even that. He's probably won tons and tons and tons of swim meets all over the country, right? Because you have to win like a national arena to even apply for the being in the Olympics. Okay, so he's probably won thousands upon thousands of gold medals and awards and first trophies and all sorts of things because he has a genetic advantage. Because sorry, I'm not on screen.
Yep.
He has a genetic advantage because he doesn't use up his oxygen as much as other swimmers do, and nobody is screaming genetic advantage. Make him ineligible. He no longer can, compete in swimming because he's won consecutive races in a row. But this woman wins 30 consecutive races. Everyone says, "Oh, you must be a man," because only men can win consecutively. Women cannot do that. Women aren't allowed to win consecutively. They have to give every other woman a chance to win. Because that's the fair world we live in.
It's
every
unfair.
woman needs a chance to get a gold trophy. Once you win one trophy as a woman, you have to leave. You have to stop competing and let the next woman get one and the next woman get one. It feels infantilizing to me, right? Protecting women in this case that they can't handle losing. Making every single woman a sore loser because, well, actually, her testosterone levels are higher than the average woman, so she's not even really a real woman to compete. Doesn't even count.
These people are completely full of shit, right?
Yeah.
And again, these people are not even people that follow women's sports. They probably don't even follow men's sports. But the only time they ever follow women's sports is when they complain about it.
Yeah.
They call them men. It's like, shut the fuck up. You can't. Most of them aren't athletes, for one thing. They're not athletes. They've never been athletes. I've been an athlete. And I know what it takes, and it ain't easy to be an athlete of any freaking gender. I mean, never mind. I'll go on. Sorry.
Well, her winning time was then of 1 minute 55.7 seconds.
Training.
Was faster than the gold medal winning time at the 2024 Olympics, but not the 1 minute 55.21 run by Anthing Mu of the United States at Tokyo Olympics held in 2021. So she made a higher. She finished higher than somebody at the Paris Olympics, but it's not the highest ever by a woman. Right? Not even close. Is Anthing Mu from the United States in Tokyo? Is she getting all her being banned from from running because she has the highest run time ever? She must be a man, obviously. Women can't run fast or do anything. Only men can do things.
Or losers.
Semenya returned to Eugene in 2022 to race the World Championships over 5,000, but did not advance from the heats. Now 34 and has moved into coaching. She said recently her ongoing legal fight is no longer about principle rather than her own running career. So, you guys fucked up my life because I was born. That's my story. Give me my
it's hilarious to me, but
Caligula, whatever it was called. CLERIHEW.
CLERIHEW. All right. Caster Semenya has rights. Haters want to look in her tights. Soon basketball vowed, no tall people allowed.
That's unfair physical advantage.
Your slippery slope argument.
The stupidest sentence in the world to me. You have an unfair physical advantage. Hello, this is sports. We're all doing physical things here.
Yeah. Victor Wembanyama is illegal. He's 7'5". He's too tall. I can't get a shot off.
He needs to chop his ankles off in order for us to allow him to run. Okay, we're gonna have an ad break for 3 minutes.
We need to have springs in our shoes.
That's fine. Okay, let's roll our next segue so we can get into this list.
My list.
I already talked about this enough. It was like probably a 15-minute. It was only a 5-minute story, but I talked about it for 15, I think.
I don't think I need my glasses. I do need my glasses.
I've got a limerick.
Put it on paper. You got a limerick about rock and roll comedians.
Just need names.
And our story today, Thursday 13. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame is one of my, a lot of people don't like it just because, why are they putting people in there that aren't even rock and roll? Or, whatever.
Yeah.
But my thing is, and I was watching 2 comedians the other day who said, we belong in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And I was like, yeah, but what other comedians belong in the Hall of Fame? So I made a list of 13, and I actually had to cut a few because I had to come up with some kind of requirement, but there wasn't really any requirement. Just somebody that, we're rock and roll comedians. You'll see the list. Number 13 is Sam Kinison. Sam Kinison isn't necessarily in any particular order, but I kind of just counted them down in my head and just put them in there randomly, but it kind of makes sense to me. Number 13 is Sam Kinison. Sam Kinison died young. He was only 30s. He died in a traffic accident out in the California desert. But while he was around, he was one of the funniest comedians there was. He did a lot of screaming. That was his shtick. He was a former evangelist. Like, he was a religious evangelist. He had that voice. He had that fire and brimstone voice, but he turned it into comedy. And Rodney Dangerfield discovered him and put him in one of his movies, Back to School. And Sam Kinison's career kind of took off after that. He ended up being a rock star. He had a hit song with a remake of Wild Thing and made a video, made a lot of money. It charted, the hit charted. The video starring Jessica Hahn was a big hit at MTV. But Sam Kinison died young, unfortunately. One of the greats of comedy, didn't live long enough. But again, maybe his shtick was going to get a little wearing thin after a while, but who knows? He never had a chance to wear thin. Number 12 is Rodney Dangerfield. Rodney Dangerfield had a hit song called Rapid Rodney, but that's not why he's on the list. Rodney Dangerfield, I've went to one of his concerts when I was about 1986 or so, with those concerts in Hollywood Bowl in Los Angeles. The Hollywood Bowl. The Hollywood Bowl is a known... it's a venue for symphony orchestras because of the shape and because of the acoustics or whatever. Nobody really books comedy acts into it, but Rodney Dangerfield did. So Rodney Dangerfield was able to pack the Hollywood Bowl, which is pretty cool. And he also was responsible for the careers of a lot of comedians in his club, Dangerfields. Dangerfields, of course, he discovered Sam Kinison, Andrew Dice Clay. Andrew Dice Clay, also not on our list today, but he was also kind of a rock and roll comedian. It wasn't, to me, like terribly, he was cutting edge, but he wasn't like, he was recycling old jokes. So that's why he's not on the list. Number 11 is Lenny Bruce. Lenny Bruce is the original rock and roll comedian. Rock and Roll Attitude, which was, I'm going to say whatever I want to. And you can arrest me, but I'm going to keep saying whatever I want to. So Lenny Bruce went to jail.
People were arresting?
For obscenity. A lot of it. Yeah. Imagine getting arrested for saying a swear word in a nightclub in New York City. That's the kind of shit he was getting arrested. He said a swear word
Land of the
in
free,
a nightclub
baby.
in New York City at 2 o'clock in the morning where nothing but adults are there and everybody's drunk or high or whatever, a cop arrests him for, oh my God, he said the F word. So yeah. Lenny Bruce, arrested more times than probably we can count. Rock and roll comedian, the original, just for that attitude. Number 10 is David Letterman. David Letterman, what the hell are you talking about? He's a talk show host. But David Letterman also, not only was a talk show host, he was a stand-up comic first. And a lot of bands I never heard. I saw him on David Letterman first. Because David Letterman didn't care if you were famous, he made you famous. And David Letterman, and I looked this up, is the only comedian to give an induction speech at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. David Letterman inducted Pearl Jam. And we could play his speech maybe, if you can find that. But you can play David Letterman's speech for Pearl Jam. I was going to look for it, but I forgot to.
Okay, I can look for it.
So David Letterman's at number 10. I'm going to just go shout out to Conan O'Brien while I'm at it, because Conan O'Brien, also a comedian, comedy writer, one of the few comedy writers to write for both Saturday Night Live and The Simpsons. But he's not on my list, even though he actually plays guitar and he has it in a band. But I had to make some cuts. Sorry, Conan.
Yeah, I like Conan
number 10 is Billy Conn.
lot, but yeah.
Yeah. I'd say Conan was, his hero was David Letterman, so he had to make some cuts. I didn't want to cut them, but the list is the list. Number 10 is number 9 is Billy Connolly. Billy Connolly, a famous Scottish comedian who I just actually bought his audiobook to listen to, and he's very entertaining. He's got a Scottish accent, so he talks in that. And of course, Billy Connolly, very funny, very don't give a crap, absolutely don't give a crap comedian, so he's hilarious. Once was in a band with Jerry Rafferty of Steelers Wheel, so he's a rock and roll musician. And so since being a rock and roll musician and not giving a fuck, you can't be more rock and roll than that. Billy Connolly at 9. Number 8. Damn, can't read my writing. Oh, number 8, Richard Pryor. Richard Pryor, again, rock and roll attitude, one of the great comics of all time. Packed arenas, packed everywhere he played. Once he got to a certain level, with his, I think it was his album, which was called That N-Word Is Crazy, and then his next album, Bicentennial N-Word, it made him extremely popular.
Nathan is crazy. Bicentennial Nathan. That's the word you say, Nathan.
All right. Right. Okay, gotcha. Right. But Richard Pryor, zero fucks given about anything he said. He would say anything. He would absolutely shock you. Rock and roll comedian Richard Pryor, again, packed them in. Number 7, the Blues Brothers, Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi. The Blues Brothers, again, they ripped off a lot of blues songs and they made their record. But I suppose they ripped them off, but they gave the credit to the original authors, and the original authors made money. I mean, Sam and Dave. Think of Sam and Dave. Sam and Dave are legends in Memphis, but nobody heard of Sam and Dave before the Blues Brothers. Well, I wouldn't say nobody. I'm saying my generation didn't know about Sam and Dave until the Blues Brothers covered Soul Man. And then we went back and we said, hey, they not only covered Soul Man, they used the original musicians who were in Soul Man. They basically used the exact same band to cover Soul Man. So they gave jobs to a lot of studio musicians. A lot of those studio musicians that played on Soul Man were in the movie Blues Brothers. Like Duck Dunn and Steve Cropper. They were in a band called what was the name of that band, that Memphis band that played at Stax Records? Anybody that played at Stax Records, they were the studio band at Stax Records that made songs for, Ike Turner and just anybody that had a blues record, they were playing on it. And of course, the Blues Brothers movie starred Aretha Franklin, James Brown, Ray Charles. Basically, anybody that was still alive that had soul was in that movie. Cab Calloway, right, from the 40s was in that movie. Our number, let's see, where are we at? We're at number 6, Eddie Murphy. You mentioned Eddie Murphy earlier. Eddie Murphy is another guy that packed him in.
Actually, I didn't say Eddie Murphy. I think Demigorge in chat said. I'm not going to take credit for
Right
what he
on,
said.
Eddie Murphy. I didn't forget Eddie Murphy. Eddie Murphy actually had a top 10. I would call it a disco hit, but disco is a form of rock and roll. No doubt about that. Party all the time. So, actually released an album of songs that he wrote, and Eddie Murphy again packed them in, and at a certain time in his career, didn't give a fuck. He stopped. He started, I think when his movie career took off, he started becoming a little bit safer and stopped doing stand-up. But the original Eddie Murphy, and the one who made records, was a rock and roll comedian. It belongs in the Hall of Fame. Number 5 is Robin Williams.
Of course, the master.
Now Robin, yeah, if Robin Williams is playing in your town, you win. Again, the guy who packed him in, Robin Williams, just didn't have an act, right? He just stood up there and riffed the whole time, packed him in. Not a whole lot to say. He didn't make a lot of rock and roll records, but when he did make a record, comedy, it went straight up the charts. So Robin Williams, rock and roll comedian, packed him in, and the original is number 4. The original packing in sports arenas comedian was Steve Martin. Steve Martin not only packed him in as a rock and roll comedian, he was the opening act for a lot of rock stars. He actually dated Linda Ronstadt for 3 years. And now there's rock and roll credentials. So according to Steve Martin, they dated, but they didn't really hit it off all that much, even though they dated for like 3 years.
Yeah.
So Steve Martin was a regular at the Troubadour. Doors started, where the Doors were the house band. So we know he knew a lot of rock and roll stars. And Steve Martin is the only one on our list that is actually in a music hall. Steve Martin is in the Bluegrass Hall of Fame because he's a banjo player and a very good banjo player.
Yeah, I've heard him. It's very
Martin,
impressive.
So a musician and a comedian. Number 3, Monty Python's Flying Circus. Rock and roll comedians. Well, what do you rock and roll comedians play any music? However, they were so popular in England. Their first movie was called Now for Something Completely Different, which was just skits, right? Skits from their TV show. Their second movie, though, was called Monty Python and the Holy Grail, and they didn't have any money to make the movie, which is why they ended up with. But the money they did get to make that movie was from Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin. That's right. Pink Floyd and Led Zeppelin management, with the approval of the bands, by the way, said, give them the money, loan them the money, whatever it was. Let's make that movie. We want to see a Monty Python movie, damn it. Their third movie, Life of Brian, was totally and completely fun. If you think that was cool street cred, getting Pink Floyd, Led Zeppelin to fund your movie, their third movie, Life of Brian, was funded completely by George Harrison of the Beatles, who mortgaged his house. I can't even wrap my head around that. George Harrison didn't have enough money. As a Beatle in 1976 or whatever, he still didn't have enough money to fund shit.
You would know that they take 80% of all the money you make. It's a big scam.
Right. This is why George wrote that song Taxman, by the way.
Yeah.
So George, who is one of the more famous people in the world, still had to mortgage his house to help pay for Life of Brian. He made his money back in spades. He did make that money back, so hats off to George. And Monty Python, number 3 on our list. Rock and roll comedians. Number 2, George Carlin. George Carlin was maybe not the first guy to pack them in, but he was the first comedian to tour college campuses. And if you tour college campuses, your audience is already, first of all, they're young, right? They're impressionable. They already don't trust adults. And here you have an adult telling them, doesn't look like the other adults, saying, hey, you're right to feel the way you do. George Carlin led to so much intelligence being passed to people who are being brainwashed with bullshit that he cannot help himself. He's a rock and roll comedian. He was the first long-haired, bearded, freaky-looking guy to get on the Tonight Show and go, accept me, I'm here. So, George Carlin. And number 1 is the first album I ever bought with my own money, Cheech and Chong. Cheech and Chong, the original rock and roll comedians. What? Yep, they had hit records. Basketball Jones was was on the first record I bought, was called Los Cachinos, and let's list the people who played on Basketball Jones. I forgot to look this up before I started, but it's a pretty easy list. We're going to start off with George Harrison, played on Basketball Jones. Eric Clapton played on Basketball Jones for Cheech and Chong. Okay, let's list everybody else. Carole King played on Basketball Jones. Billy Preston played on Basketball Jones. Tom Scott, the clarinetist and saxophonist, played on Basketball Jones. Klaus Bormann, the bass player for
there's another famous Tom Scott.
Played on Basketball Jones. Yeah, Tom Scott. Yeah. Michelle Phillips of the Mamas and the Papas. I'm just saying. There's rock and roll. Not to mention that is Cheech and Chong was actually a very good guitar player. They actually had rock and roll hits. Earache My Eye was a big hit as under the pseudonym Alice Bowie, right? So Cheech and Chong, again, Chong was not only a guitar player, he was a club owner in Canada. Chong is from Canada, another great Canadian export. Let's list them all, okay? Just on Basketball Jones, you had Cheech as the singer, George Harrison electric guitar, Klaus Bormann on bass, Jim Keltner percussion. Of course, he's everybody's Carole King electric piano, Nicky Hopkins, who played for the Who and Rolling Stones, on piano, Tom Scott on saxophone, Billy Preston on organ, Darlene Love, famous Darlene Love, still around. Backing vocalist, Benita James, Gene King, Michelle Phillips, Ronnie Spector on this album. Cheech and Chong, again, were nobodies this time. They were absolute nobodies. Just reminding you, they were just a comedy team around LA, and a guy named, what was his name? I can't think of his name right now. Anyway, there's your list, the number one. I'll think of his name in a minute. But again, Cheech and Chong. You're number one. And again, tomorrow, they just induct all 13 of these acts into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Don't hold a vote. Voters are stupid. They don't know anything. Just put them in there.
I'm sure there's even more, but I don't know, because, obviously I'm a different generation than you. That's the whole point of the show.
Yeah.
Bo Burnham is a comedian and a musician. I wonder if he's in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Probably not. I don't think so.
No, there's no comedians in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Zero. There might be singers that were once
dead,
funny.
Right? You have to be dead for 70 years to get inducted, so he needs to die first.
No. You just got to be 25 years since your first recorded album.
Oh, okay.
Whatever.
Now, I don't think it's been that long. Because I think
recorded.
Bo Burnham started when I was in high school. That was definitely not 25 years.
Well, this is your initial class. This isn't an all-inclusive,
No, I understand that. I'm just saying. I was just trying to think if there's any comedians from earlier, or I should say from later.
Yeah.
Later in your life, from my life, that should also be in here. But Bo Burnham's the only comedian.
Yeah, almost all these guys have been around for 50 years, except maybe David Letterman has never really released a recording of any kind. Somebody might have released something of his. I don't know.
A bootleg.
But Billy Connolly's been around forever. Yeah. There's your list. What's your what did you get? Reminds me of a song.
What are they called again? CLERIHEWs? I think I
misunderstood
the rules, but that's okay because it's my first time.
I have somebody's name.
There once was a comic named Rodney, whose humor was sharp and quite raunchy. With a grin and a jest, he'd outshine all the rest. David's wit struck like lightning, it's clear. On stage full of cheer, with a smile and smirk, he turned laughter to work. In the spotlight, Richard did shine, with humor that felt so divine. He tackled sad themes with laughter and dreams. I like limericks more, though, because it has that nice ending line. But there you go.
We're doing a limerick. Yeah,
I said I was going to do your CLERIHEW or whatever. They're all about people, right? So it's easy. It's an easier one.
Right.
If you were like doing a story about a meteor strike, I'd be like, who the fuck am I naming in the meteor strike? The scientist, I guess.
Right. But you actually have to use their full name in the first one. That's the thing.
My bad.
Like Rodney Smith did this, or Jim Johnson did this, or you know, Frank Jones did this, you know, or just anybody's name. And you can make up a name, right? You can just make up. John Doe. John Doe has an issue.
Scientist.
He is completely run out of tissue.
Talks about meteors.
Joe Blow.
I can't do it. I can't do
rhymes
it.
With
Right straight here without.
You can make Joe Blow rhyme. Okay. Spin the wheel. I'll do something. I can do a Haraloo on your story here.
Accurate metaphor. Well, I don't know if there's going to be any names in this because it's about video games. Maybe you can do a name of a video game.
CLERIHEW.
Video games are people too. I'm also uploading a mic drop. I kind of cut up the Pearl Jam thing.
Induction.
Like I think around 5 minutes. I don't know where I cut it because I couldn't hear it, but I just did it off of mouth movement. So we'll see what they actually say in the clip.
Works for me.
I'll send you the link when it's done uploading because it's like still uploading.
Oh, okay.
Right, our story is going to be, our culture segment here is going to be about, for the gamers out there, cozy games. I'm not really a cozy gamer myself. I like violence, I like fighting, I like, toughing it out, but there's plenty of cozy gamers out there, and looking at the trend, it's been rising and rising in popularity over the last couple of years. So, could it be possible violent games are going to have a comeback, or a darker video game comeback, or we're just going to go cozy for the rest of the year? In 2017, this is from Nicole Carpenter on The Guardian. In 2017, a game design think tank called Project Horseshoe gathered a group of developers together to define the concept of coziness in video games. Games, of course, have had non-violent elements since the medium was invented. Early life simulators such as 1985's Little Computer People, a low-stakes game in which the player interacts with a man living in his unremarkable life in a house, could fit the bill. Then there was the proliferation of social farming simulation after 1996's TV adorable Harvest Moon. But the resulting report, Coziness in Games, an exploration of safety, softness, and satisfied needs, is probably the first organized effort to define the then emerging genre. The group zeroed in on the three core things: safety, abundance, and softness. Cozy games, cozy in the US is spelled with a C, don't have high risk. I don't know, it's because it's on The Guardian, so they have to be like, it's spelled differently. Don't have high risk scenarios. There's no impending loss of threat, they wrote. It must have a sense of abundance. Nothing is lacking, pressing, or imminent. And a soft aesthetic wraps everything up like a warm hug. This reminds me of a thread I saw earlier before the show, which was somebody saying Stardew Valley is not a cozy game. There is an impending loss or threat if you do not fund your community center by the end of the first year. But that's how they're playing, right? They're playing it in an impending way. Realistically, you're not going to fail the game if you don't do it. It's just not efficient. They've economized the video game in a way that makes it not so cozy in a way. Take developer Witchbeam's puzzle game Unpacking, for example, which tells a story as the player takes things out of boxes and put them into different houses. There are limitations to where you can put things. It's a puzzle game, after all. But there's no timer, no scoring system, no punishments for placing something wrong. If I want to place my computer behind my chair, I can, okay? And you can't tell me not to.
That's where it goes.
And colorful pixel art brings it all together. Project Horseshoe's definition came alongside the launch of the Nintendo Switch in 2015, a handheld console designed to be cozied up with on the couch or under a blanket. That's how I play my Switch. And maybe it's from my childhood when I was playing my DS under my blanket, but that's how I play the Switch, under my blanket. By 2019, indie game designer Matthew Taylor had started a Twitter account called Wholesome Games to highlight games that fitted the definition. Eventually, Wholesome Games, led by Taylor and partner Jenny Wyndham, James Tillman, and Victoria Tran, grew into a community that hosted showcases full of cute, non-threatening games, and has now become a company that publishes their own games. The success of Wholesome Games mirrors the immense growth of the genre as a whole. The Wholesome Direct was broadcast in 2020 as the cozy genre began to explode during COVID-19 pandemic lockdowns. Thanks in no part to Nintendo's Chill Island Escape Animal Crossing Horizons, it had 25,000 viewers, Tillman claims. The most recent Wholesome Direct, which debuted in June, reached 5 million people. You can see this trend on Steam, where more and more games are tagged with Cosy moniker. 2020, just 15 games on Steam were released with the Cosy tag attached. Wow, only 15 according to Steam database. Number is more than doubled in 2021, so now 39 games. Then doubled again with 85 in 2022. And then the explosion, 300 from 85 to 373 games are tagged in or more than one released per day on Steam. Every time the genre seems to have reached a peak, it rises higher. There are massive commercial hits too. Animal Crossing sold nearly 50 million, more than any game in the Call of Duty military shooter series. Call of Duty has been going down for a while. I don't know if that's a fair comparison. You need to compare it to a newer game, you know? Animal Crossing sold 50 million, which is more than some new shooter, I don't know, Fortnite. Fortnite doesn't sell games because they're free to play. Famous farming game Stardew Valley, meanwhile, has sold 41 million. Kelly Bordeaux, Associate Professor of Game Studies and Design Program leading at Harrisburg University, says the cozy games aren't just a genre, but an ideological shift in game design, something that can be powerful in order to express different themes and play experiences. You can see this in the diversity of experiences that cozy offer. A little to the left in Unpacking are wildly different games about organizing household items. A short hike. Okay, so it's not like I don't like these concepts as games. I'm going to talk about this as my own opinion as a gamer, but I just do this stuff in real life. That's my problem with cozy games, is it's like real life simulators, and I just do it in real life. If I need to go organize a box, I have a bunch of boxes of junk. I can just do that. Okay, I can put some away. I don't need a video game for that. So this is I understand why other people like them, but personally I don't like cozy games because I already live in real life. I don't need to simulate it. Nothing makes me excited like having to farm and make sure I make enough money for my farm that I can afford to buy a bed in my house. That does not make me feel cozy. That makes me stressed, okay?
Right.
Having to earn money in video games does not make me feel comfortable or safe or anything. It makes me stressed. Anyways, a short hike is about a summer vacation stroll up a mountain. I can just do that right outside. Spiritfarer is a company management simulator about death and Benba is an emotional story about nostalgia and cooking Tamil cuisine. Okay, maybe that one. I don't think I can cook Tamil cuisine right now. More recently, darker games have been considered cozy. Strange Horticulture has the player running a shop selling sometimes poisonous plants, while Dredge adds a horror narrative on top of traditionally low-stakes fishing and sailing. At the core of it, these games are joyful, hopeful, and compassionate, says Wholesome Games partner Wyndham. When people play them, we want them to feel a sense of warmth and a sense of safety, but the definition has expanded to include games that, perhaps, deal with uncomfortable or uncozy topics within the realm of safety. Priya Gupte, Pratik Saxena of India-based I Miss My Friend Studio, did not set out to make a cozy game, but their debut, Fishbowl, is certainly one. Fishbowl stars Aloe, a 21-year-old woman who just moved to a city for a job as a video editor. Then the pandemic locks begin, as she grieves the death of her grandmother. Despite the weighty topics, you can see the cozy everywhere in Fishbowl. The meticulous design color palette, the intricate and detailed pixel, and the soft, comforting sound design. I definitely think that is the comfy thing. The sound design is comfy. It has those nice feelings, that like clipping sounds. And started off with the themes that story and we wanted to express. Writer and art director Gupte says, thinking about the design and overall feel of the game, it felt as if it needed a comforting atmosphere. Otherwise, it was going to become super heavy and difficult to play through. We wanted to have the sort of melancholy yet levity in the game. Cozy as a genre is evolving, and part of that is an understanding that cozy is different for everyone. Still, not every non-violent game can be called cozy. It's not valuable to stick that tag on everything. It comes meaning. Yeah, it's like RPG. Everything's an RPG now. What does that mean? Who knows? Fishbowl is not a cozy game in the way that Stardew Valley is, so I would argue Stardew Valley is not cozy. For players dream of an idyllic life on a farm. Gupte and Saxena spoke about the distance between how farming and agriculture are portrayed in games, how they are like in reality. Yes, In reality, agriculture is a very scary part of people's lives, Saxena said. There is a game from India called The Palace of the Hill, where the main character has to do farming to repay their debt. It's a reverse cozy game, but in a different way. Farming is considered a more laid-back life. I am now a slave to my debtor. That's so cozy. I love having to pay off my debt. I mean, that's what freaking Animal Crossing is. You move to a place, a raccoon says, you owe me money, you're gonna have to pay that back because you just moved here and I let you alone. That's not, for me, that's why Animal Crossing was never cozy. I'm like, I fucking owe some guy money now because I moved to an island?
A raccoon?
Like this.
A raccoon? Make a hat out of a raccoon, man.
I was a raccoon dog, technically, but yeah. That was very stressful for me. Like, you have to pay back your debt. You know, how about I move to an island and not have to owe anyone money when I get there? Film a contemplated photography game released in 2021.
Isn't the French Revolution a video game by now?
Yeah, something we made is another extension of the genre. Though it's unequivocally a cozy game, it's lacking something that genre is known for. Color palette. Tome is rendered entirely in black and white. Monochrome can look harsh, Tome developer Lucas Goldblum says, but Tome isn't harsh. The use of gradients and the soft aesthetic keeps the game from having the emotional feeling of being black and white. Where does cozy go from here? Over the past year, idle games have emerged as a subsector of the genre. Low-stakes affairs such as Quarter Pond, in which you fish from your desktop, Puka's Idle Island, where you chill with a frog, Bao Bao's Cozy Laundromat, Build a Laundrette. These games have many of the traditional trappings of cozy, the abundance of farming, the resource possession paired with cute, colorful graphics. Crucially, you barely have to do much. Stuff you can do, such as decorating or small games, but nothing you have to do. The game can go on and will go on without you. I mean, just now, if anyone watches, as you've noticed on our Before Coffee, during our mic drop, we have stream avatars running. That's basically an idle cozy game. You don't have to do anything. Just in chat, and then you show up in the game, and that's all you have to do. You just walk around down there. The game can and will go on without you, and that's a big part of the appeal. Is there something inherently cozy about idleness? As the genre grows, there's much to explore. Yes, there is. As Demigorge has been already talking about in chat, life is torture. If you're working, you're a slave to the corporations, and sometimes just sitting around and doing nothing is the only leisure you can afford, right? You don't have to think, you don't have to work, just lay there. And I think these idle games are definitely a result of that. In the cozy, wholesome realm, but just in games in general, such a young medium that we're still discovering genres and mechanics. It says, it's rare when we do something really novel come up. It felt to a lot of people when wholesome games and cozy games emerged that it was something that had never considered before. Instead of shooting in a first person, why don't we take a photograph? Shifts happen. Still discovering what we can do in games. I don't know where this is. This a thing? It must be a thing for non-gamers. Do you think all games are shooting guns? As a non-gamer yourself? I think all video games.
No.
Yeah, okay. I always see this. People are like, it's not shooting guns. I'm like, why? I literally didn't play a shooting gun game until I was maybe.
Most 19. Of it appears to be walking.
Yeah.
Walking and walking. A lot of walking.
You like playing sports games, right? You like playing golf games.
Not really.
Well, those are games
I used to, but I just. I'd rather watch somebody else play. To tell you the truth, I'd rather play a sport or watch somebody else play it. To play a video version of it, to me, it's like, I mean, I can get into it, but it's just, I can't spend a lot of time on it. And I just, I don't know. To me, it just seems like, you don't want to hear it from me. Go ahead.
I do want to hear from you. That's the end of the story.
I'll drag the show down for the next 10 minutes. Go ahead.
Well, then give me your segue.
Oh, my segue. This is a good one. Donkey Kong was displeased. All of his violence had been eased. But now he can digitally kick Mario and Luigi in their digital dick. Anyway.
Wow. Oh, I'm impressed. I'm impressed.
Hey, I know my video game characters from the 1980s.
Yeah, you do know that Donkey Kong was the dude in the arcade. I mean, you went to the arcade, right?
Yeah, I played the original Donkey Kong.
Yeah.
It was just, you couldn't get it at home, right?
Very good, very good. Okay,
Thank you.
Not that my,
Clary
not that I
Hugh,
had I wasn't low expectations or anything.
hey, I had a lot of time to work on it, so yeah.
Okay, I'm
This day in history. Have you sent me the video yet? I'll get...
Did you get my message just now? I sent you one. If you want to check real quick.
Hold on a second. Yeah, I got it. Well, it only takes a second to click on it, and then I can close Facebook, which eats a lot of memory, and open YouTube, which eats even more memory. Hey, this day in history.
Okay.
This day in history. We're going all the way back to. Oh, you'll like this one. It's the Netherlands history. But first, we're going to talk about Lady Jane Grey, the 15-year-old great-granddaughter of Henry VII, became Queen of England on this day, but her reign lasted an entirety of 9 days. She was executed by Mary Tudor the following year. So yeah, she was locked up after 9 days, probably locked in a Tower of London. And Bloody Mary, as she's called, Mary Tudor in this one. I wonder why they don't call her Mary the First, right? I mean, they can call her Mary the First, you can call her Bloody Mary, but they choose to call her Mary Tudor. They call her Bloody Mary to distinguish her from, of course, Mary Queen of Scots, who had a legitimate claim to the throne. Basically, a couple of years later, in 1584, William the First. Goes to the Netherlands history. William the First of the hereditary stadtholders of the United Provinces of the Netherlands. Stadtholders.
Stadtholders.
Okay. Anyway, he was the first of the William the First. Of course, he was the first. He was assassinated on this day. Let's just say that. Yeah, he was assassinated.
R.I.P.
1609, the Catholic League was formed by Maximilian I, Duke of Bavaria, and the Catholic powers of Germany. In Germany, Catholic League. I wonder if that was Superman's first group, right? That's your superheroes joke for today. 1871, French novelist Marcel Proust was born. He wrote "À la recherche du temps perdu," which is translated into "The In Search of Lost Time," a 7-volume novel based on his life. Wow, it took him 14 years to write it. Or release it. It says 1913 to 1927. So he was born on this day in 1871. So he was like way old when he did that. Basically the age I am now, which is way old. 1875, Mary McLeod Bethune, an African-American educator, was born in Maysville, South Carolina. She was active in national black affairs and special advisor to President Franklin Roosevelt. I like how they call her African-American in one sentence and black in the next one. That really is confusing as hell.
Which one is he? She's both.
Yeah, let's have a term that you just stick to instead of just going confusing people. Again, isn't Elon Musk African American technically? Right? He's born in Africa, lives in America, African American. So it's a silly term. Black or whatever, colored people is a stupid term too, right? People of color is the same thing, so you can't say that, right?
Everyone has a color.
Black's
that's the
fine.
problem.
I think black. Yeah. Nobody. Yeah. That goes back to I was watching the golf, right? Tiger Woods is probably the best golfer of all time, and he's a black guy, right? You can say African American, but he prefers Cablan Asian because he's Asian. He's African, right? A golfer named Vijay Singh was from Fiji, won the PGA championship, and a stupid announcer goes, "He's the second African American to win the major." And I'm like, he's not American. He's never been to Africa. He's from Fiji. Okay. Anyway,
he's the first Fijian.
So again, the first. Yeah, exactly. It's a small island, and you've never been visit. 1952 Constitution. On this day. 1925. We skipped a really stupid event in American history: the Scopes trial. 100 years ago, the stupidest trial, one of the dumbest things in American history. They called it the monkey trial. They tried to outlaw the teaching of evolution. Holy shit, what a free country we have, right? What a free country. Yeah. Outlawing education. Yeah. The Scopes trial began in Dayton, Tennessee. Oh, Tennessee. It has to be the South, right? With William Jennings Bryant, who was one of the great orators, but he was completely dead wrong in this case. He was arguing for the prosecution, and Clarence Darrow for the defense, which said, "Stop telling us what we can learn, you fascist assholes." 1952, the Constitution of Eritrea, one of your fascist countries nowadays. Eritrea, whatever, fascist country. I've looked it up. Prepared by the United States in consultation with Haile Selassie of Ethiopia, was adopted. So they had their own constitution in 1952. I wonder. 1962, Swedish engineer Nils Rollin was issued a U.S. patent for the 3-point seatbelt for cars, a major safety innovation. It featured a strap that extended across the upper body, in addition to the standard lap restraint, because the lap restraint would just cut you in half in a violent collision. 1965, British rock band the Rolling Stones stopped the U.S. charts for the first time with the single "I Can't Get No Satisfaction."
I can't get
Song about, well, we could make a list of this. I Can't Get No Satisfaction. Of course, it was banned on American radio because they thought it was a song about, well, masturbation, which it may have been, right? I'm not sure, but yeah.
I think
1973, the Bahamas gained.
Yeah, I think he was masturbating too much and he just couldn't ejaculate anymore. That's what it sounds like to me.
Well, he was early 20s. I thought that's true. 1973. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I know.
Mick Jagger, a notorious bed jumper. He would jump into bed with anyone. I mean, anyone. 1973, the Bahamas gained independence from Britain within the Commonwealth. I don't know what that means. You're independent, but you're not. Got it. But that's the way British do it. We don't really trust you. You're like little children. We're the only grown-ups in the entire world. We're the British, for God's sake. Don't you understand? Speaking of assholes being assholes, 1985, the Greenpeace ship Rainbow Warrior was sunk by 2 bomb explosions while berthed in Auckland Harbor, New Zealand. It was later revealed French intelligence agents had planted the explosives. Oh, we're governments. We're allowed to be terrorists. Get the fuck out of here, French intelligence scumbags. Blowing up ships that are in the harbor. Don't even give a shit about how many people they killed in the collateral damage. So French government decided they were going to be terrorists on this day in 1985. Way to go, French!
Everyone's got to do it at least 10 times if you're in the Western world.
Right.
That's how you get invited to NATO. You have to be a terrorist.
Yeah. You have to. Oh my God! They want. Of course, Greenpeace was accused of high seas piracy for seizing oil tankers and stuff like that. In 1991, Russian politician Boris Yeltsin was sworn in office as the country's first elected president, and Russia's had democracy ever since. Oh yeah, for sure. That never ended. Pure sarcasm. 2015, Egyptian actor Omar Sharif died at the age of 83. He was an Egyptian actor who gained international acclaim for his roles in Lawrence Arabia and Dr. Zhivago. Yeah, he was a Egyptian who played a Russian in Dr. Zhivago. Well, there you go, man. Cultural appropriation. 2019, German automaker Volkswagen ended the production of the Beetle, the first model of which had been introduced in 1938. I no word on what Mexico City's doing for taxi cabs anymore, because my trip to Mexico City, I never saw so many Volkswagen Beetles in my life in all taxi. 1962 is our featured event. Yeah, 63 years ago, Telstar 1 was launched, the first communication satellite to transmit live television signals and telephone conversations across the Atlantic Ocean. It was launched on this day in 1962, inaugurating a new age of electronic communications. You could place an international call on your little home phone. Wow! Amazing! John Calvin is our featured biography. If you're a Calvinist, if that exists anymore, you know who he is.
Yes,
he was born July
technically they
10th,
still exist
1509.
in the Netherlands.
A sect of Protestantism. July 10th, 1509, in Noyon, France. Never understood religion, so I don't know what they believe in. He died May 27th, 1564, in Switzerland, in Geneva, at the age of 54. John Calvin, happy birthday. Happy 516th. Yeah.
Wow.
I want to see all the candles. I want to see the candles on that cake. In 1807, Solomon Northrop was born. American farmer and writer. We did Marcel Proust. Jake LaMotta, the Raging Bull. American boxer, born in 1922. He was probably called just something else. Yeah, but he's the Raging Bull is a movie starring Robert De Niro, produced by, of course, his buddy Martin Scorsese. Jake LaMotta, also starring Joe Pesci as his brother. 1943 is the birthday of Arthur Ashe, American tennis player, the first African American to win Wimbledon, which is going on this weekend. We have the championships at Wimbledon. Sofia Vergara, Colombian American actor, was born in 1972. She's 53 today. My God, she's a good-looking 53. So happy birthday to her. Of course, in Modern Family, she's currently doing a lot of commercials. I see her in one commercial over and over again. She's very funny. I'm not sure I buy the accent, though. I think that might be fake, but I'm not sure. I mean, it might be a little bit, not fake, but enhanced, right? But that's fine. That's who she is, right? So there's your days in history this day. Our national days are a little bit, wait, let's go down. National Days, National CLERIHEW Day. We've already talked about that. National Kitten Day. Kittens, everyone love a kitten. And it's National Pina Colada Day. A National Chronic Disease Day. Don't smoke the chronic. I mean, you can smoke the chronic, but that's not what it's about. It's chronic disease. Like me, I've got a chronic disease called stenosis. It's not going away ever. I got to live with it. There's no opening between my nerve and my nerves on my spinal cord and my spinal bones, and I could become paralyzed at any given time. So I got to live with that. It's a chronic disease, but I got to live with it. Lots of people live with shit. That's mine.
Yep.
Don't pity me. Don't feel sorry for me, because I don't care. It's just what it is. Those are your
That's
diseases.
a chronic condition. So
there you go. You have a chronic disease, and you are not going to sit there and want a whole shitload of sympathy, right? Everybody gets something, right? Everybody gets something. A lot of people worse off than me.
Sympathy, but they don't need pity. That's what I say.
Right. Yeah. Pity me at your own peril, because I don't accept it. That's your CLERIHEWs, your bad rhymes, your bad puns. We didn't do too many of those, and your mispronunciations. Your list, of course, for July 10th, 2025, on before Pina Coladas.
Or Pina Coladas. Okay. And my hypothetical.
Oh, yeah. Get that rum drink.
My hypothetical here about. Oh, what was our days again? Oh, I'm literally not paying. Kittens. Kittens. In a hypothetical world where I'm not allergic to kittens, I would have a million of them.
Oh no!
But unfortunately, I'm allergic to cats. And even right now, I've never been allergic to the cat I live with now until this year. She was shedding like crazy, and just being near her makes my face welt up. I just can't breathe. I can breathe, but my face gets full of fluid. You know, I have an instant, like, I can't touch my eyes or my nose because of my distance. Oh, the sun is really bright. Ugh. I'll worry about the sun later. But you got my video. We got our mic drops, and I think we're good to go. This has been. There's no international UN observances today. Yeah, there is one. There's a couple tomorrow, so I'll remember that tomorrow. But thank you guys for stopping by another Thursday 13 here on Before Coffee. This has been Allison from the Netherlands, Roger from the East Coast of the U.S. As we tie off today's day, I hope you've learned about a lot of comedians you may not even heard of or maybe watched any of their shows. They have plenty of good stand-up shows. You can probably find them wherever you watch your digital media on, wherever that is, and check them out. And I guess send a petition to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and say, hey, got these guys in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. You've got Madonna in there. Why don't you have freaking Eddie Murphy or Richard Pryor? What the hell, man? Martin.
Yep.
Martin deserves a spot. He plays the banjo.
Yeah. Well, you got to include Steve Martin. Like I said, Steve Martin was the original pack-em-in comedian. No matter how big the venue, he's still packed in. Robin Williams did too. Not too long after that. It wasn't maybe a year or two later. Robin Williams supplanted him as the biggest selling, whatever you want to call it.
We'll see you tomorrow for our Friday news dump. So make sure you're following on Twitch, subscribed on the Ali and Rocks channel, and have those notifications on. So notified when we go live or post a video. And here is our mic drop moment.
Hall of Fame and people who will be in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And then for 2 years,
First, David Letterman, also not in the Rock and Roll.
CBS caught me abusing a copier and fired me.
But he's nominated by me.
And when I came here to rehearsal this afternoon and heard live music again, I was reminded.
Here's some comedy for you.
God,
to prove
what
he has
a
the
gift
chops.
live music is.
I love when they look at the crowd and people are making the most green face.
I know all of these people.
I know he made a Neil Young joke. Neil Young was supposed to be the original presenter, but I think he was ill.
Never
and David Letterman filled
take the opportunity.
I'm not sure if I got that in
music
here,
for granted. That's the message I can bring to you folks tonight. It's a delight to be back here for this. By the way, I've known Neil Young for many, many years. We met a long time ago on FarmersOnly.com.
Oh, yeah, he does make me only young.
Now,
I hope I didn't cut in the middle of it.
in 1988
Farmers Only is a dating site,
is
by the
when
way.
I first met most of the people involved in Pearl Jam. We were all
most of the people involved.
Listen.
We were in a band called Mother Love Bone, and
Oh,
Who's the original drummer from Mother Love? He's claiming he was a Mother Love Bone. And everybody there remembers what Mother Love
Bone, and they said, get out.
Is.
Yeah. And then,
Acting like bringing back the photos.
In 1991, things in the world of musical culture changed with an album entitled 10.
Yeah, everyone remembers the album.
And it was
you know
like
it was
a
called
Chinook coming out of the Pacific Northwest. And it had anger to it. And
I thought you said that I know it was called 10. I don't know why it was called
displaced and
the 10 drummers they went through until they finally made a band.
And I was almost 50, and even I was pissed off.
There's also 10 songs on the album, but that's not the reason.
Here's our 10 songs.
And it was also
Mookie Blaylock.
emotional in the air because
that was his
the
number.
show wound down.
Who's Mookie Blaylock?
We cut to a different clip here.
Oklahoma.
This is more at the end of his speech because he has like a 12-minute speech.
Live music every night, but that was in the air. It was palpable, and at the end of the show,
they were going to call the band Mookie Blaylock,
came up to me,
but they called it Pearl Jam instead. That's
here
the truth.
And
Mookie's number was 10.
He handed me this
basketball
and
number. All right.
I don't know if you can see that, but that's the name of my son, and. He gave
Pearl Jam gave
this
him
letter, and he said, this letter is for your son. I want you to give it to Harry. I think we have a picture of my son, Harry. Is he? There he is. He, oh, no, that's
smoking. Put a cigarette in them. Give this cigarette to your son in the envelope.
We've had him to all the best clinics. He was taking a gap year in middle school. I don't know.
Taking a gap year.
So, if you're in show business,
proof he's a comedian, right? He's funny.
Streak of cynicism in you, and I would be the president of that club, except for things like this. This letter to my son from Eddie Vedder.
Be sure to hit the like, subscribe, and notify buttons, and follow our other channels, Toxic Alley, History of Gravy, and Scratchy Old Records.